Supply analysis. Introduction, objectives, main content, supply equation, analyzing supply data, conclusion, class activity. Introduction. In this unit, we will discuss demand and Unit 2, we discussed demand analysis, which basically looked at the market from the demand side. But in this unit, our task is to look at the market from the supply side. Basically, when an investor is contemplating an investment in the manufacture of goods for the market, he or she tries to evaluate the nature of the market for the proposed goods or services. Understanding the nature of the market will involve understanding demand as well as supply. What is supply analysis? Supply analysis in project analysis tries to focus attention on the supply side of the market. The potential investor would like to know who the current suppliers of the goods or services are. Why? Because it will guide him in understanding what is known as a demand/supply gap. Supply analysis tries to identify the supply of given goods or services. It tries to identify who the suppliers are and their locations. What to consider in measuring supply of a good? Generally, in measuring the supply of a good, the following should be taken into consideration: domestic supply of the good or service, the foreign supply, and then the export of the goods or service. The supply equation. Consider a firm called Instructional Nigeria Limited that wishes to set up a liquid soap manufacturing plant in Nigeria. The firm now wants to analyze the supply of liquid soap in Nigeria. As we have said, there are three key items to consider. Those three items are the domestic supply of the liquid soap, the foreign supply of the liquid soap, and the export of the liquid soap in question. A now can represent domestic supply, B represents foreign supply of the good of a good, and C the export of a good. Therefore, the equation is supply is X equals to the domestic plus the foreign minus the export. This is called the supply equation. Note that C is the exported quantity and which will not be available for local consumption. We are going to export it out. It will not be used for local consumption. So analyzing supply data. We have agreed you can look at here. We have, before we analyze the supply data, we have the value of output on table 17 of your module. We have the product, food and drinks. The values there are there. That is for sugar, for flour, sugar, confectionery, biscuits, beer, soft drink, wine, spirit. Then we have the electrical equipment. We have the vehicle assemble. All these constitute the value of output selected items. Then we also have some export by products still on the checklist. You can see the building tool materials, that is the plant, the cement, the tiles. These are the things needed so that you know the value of what you the worth of what you want to embark on. Then we do the import by product section to the imports, and we do the analyzing the supply data. We've agreed that the investor should evaluate the market in terms of determining the nature of supply of the goods or services in the market. But in practical terms, there is the urgent need to identify every supplier and the supplier's location. This will actually assist in preparing a market plan. Some analysts believe that getting information on the actual supply data is all that is important. No, it's not true. In practical terms, there is need to find out the following facts about supply in an industry. How many suppliers do you have in an industry? What is their current installed capacity or capacities? Their current actual operating capacities, the anticipated expansion plans, critical labor cost in the industry, raw material cost in the industry, and the likely direction. And then categorizing the suppliers into their various categories. We have big, medium, or small players. Class activity. Explain supply equation and its relevance. Summary. The supply analysis seeks to analyze the supply of goods and services. It enables the will-be investor or analyst to have a clear picture of the supply in the marketplace. Understanding supply is a must if we are to understand the nature of competition in an industry. Unit 4, Competition and Marketing. Here we look at, study the analytical framework, nature of competition, the marketing plan, conclusion, and then the summary. We have discussed market demand when we were looking at market analysis. We also discussed supply demand in Unit 3. Now I want to move ahead and see how both of them interplay in what is known as the market. In this intellectual journey, we have put ourselves in the shoes of the would-be investor or analyst who wants to understand the nature of competition in the market. Every firm takes market demand as given, and no firm can single-handedly change demand, which is, we said, depends on a lot of factors. Also, every firm takes supply to the market as given because no firm is able to control the supply to the market from other competitors. You cannot control it. So at the end of this unit, you should be able to explain the meaning of competition, discuss marketing plans and how they are designed. So, our task here is to discuss the competition and also the marketing plan. So to guide us, so that we do not forget our direction, we shall have our proposal and outline, a type of framework that should guide us when evaluating competition and also design of marketing plans. Marketing plans are very crucial from the point of view of the project initiator as well as from the project evaluator. In the marketing plan, we have the industry outlook. Here you're looking at the demand for the product, the stability of the product, the demand, the stability, usefulness and desire, supply capacity, labor cost, etc. The company's position in the industry. You're looking at the market position of the firm, product offered, standing of the product, etc. Nature of competition. In every industry, competition exists. It is not a matter of sheer bad luck or coincidence. Competition occurs because every firm in an industry wants to sell its products and also get market share to the detriment of other players. So in the market, set of competition depends on 5 basic forces. Therefore, any discussion on competition must take into consideration these 5 basic causes, since they cannot be glossed over, which the industry, the new entrants, the suppliers, strong suppliers, powerful buyer groups, and the substitutes. The marketing plan. The marketing plan addresses issues concerning the marketing of the products. It tries to lead the firm to its external consumers and the market. So the marketing plan should answer the following questions. What is the product or service? Who are the users of the product or service? What is the offered price? Where will the product be found? How will the product or service be advertised? Summary. We have discussed competition and marketing plans. We saw how competition and marketing plans relate to each other. The framework for analysis presented discussed industry outlook and the company position in the industry. Class activity. In evaluating the outlook for an industry, list and discuss 4 items that you think are important. Then the last minute in this module, project cost analysis. In Unit 4, we discussed competition and marketing plans. We saw how competition takes place in the marketplace. We also discussed components of marketing plans as prepared by project initiators. The marketing plan, as we discussed, is very important to both the project initiators and the evaluators. In this unit, we shall discuss project cost analysis, which is very important in this course. What is project cost analysis? First, project cost analysis provides total frameworks for calculating or estimating the total cost of a project. For example, a firm wants to set up a garri processing plant to enable it to serve the food needs of a growing population. How does this firm know the cost of the envisaged garri processing plant? So to guide that discussion, let us define project cost as all those costs that are incurred in the process of setting up a project. So all those costs that this firm will incur in setting up this garri processing industry garri processing plant referred to as are referred to as project cost. Cost incurred in the process of setting up the project. The cost must be attached to the project, and the list of the items must be exhaustive. Cost of the land should be there. Cost of building, that is not just buying the land and building, the equipment that you use, machinery, utilities, furniture and fittings, vehicles, pre-operational expenses, working capital. Class activity. This time explain 10 items which you think should appear in the project cost analysis of a startup sachet water manufacturing plant. Analysis of a project. Look at estimates of a project cost, land for the project, civil works and foundation. These are just an analysis of a project cost, showing you what you need in a project. Trying to analyze the project. You have the total land, buildings and the state structures, the value, the storage tanks that you use, the crude oil tank, the refined oil tank, fatty acid. It depends on the type of industry that you want to set up. That would determine the equipment or the materials or facilities needed in the industry, in the project. Still here. In summary, in this unit we discussed project cost analysis. In doing this, we agree that cost of land, buildings, machinery and equipment, utilities, furniture and fittings, etc. all form part of the total project cost. We also used a checklist to guide the preparation of the cost analysis. Finally, we used a worked example of a vegetable oil refining plant to throw more light on the project cost analysis. This vegetable oil refining plant, which I showed you, here we have a cost of purchase of the land, cost of surveying the land in the checklist for the vegetable oil refining plant. We have cost of legal documentation, cost of perimeter fence, then that is cost of land. After the land, then what of the building? What does it take to put up the building? We think of the architectural design, the structural design, the electrical design, factory buildings, cost of offices. Then still on, you look at the machinery, so equipment, the checklist. Under machinery, have you included this in your cost? The locally purchased machinery, imported machines, has been imported some. The freight and insurance cost, custom duties and other costs, installation and commissioning cost, test running cost, cost of utilities. Then the checklist for cost of utilities is here. You have a cost of private transformer, cost of generator, cost of water borehole with fittings. Then we have the cost of vehicles. Managing the vehicle is important. Vehicle for staff, distribution, vehicle for distribution, cost of distribution lorries, the working capital checklist. We talk about the buying the raw materials, that is raw materials that you use on in producing the garri processing industry or plant. Sorry, the diesel, in case that there is no this electric supply that will suffer in Nigeria. Then pay your salaries, your workers, administrative costs, selling costs. After everything, you have to market your product. So this should be part of the checklist. And then you have the total of what it will take you to start the project. I have one of that will take me 14 million for the vegetable oil refinery, having listed all that are needed to start the project. So somebody that has 14 million can embark on such project. In this case, we have 14 million for utilities. We have 8.1 million for storage tanks. We have 22 million for land and building and steel structures. So you can sum all of them to find out that you're getting about 44.1 million. So with that, you can start a vegetable sachet water manufacturing plant. Okay, there are also other checklists in the module which you can also read of, just samples of what and those things needed to start the industry. Thank you.